looking across the room, there are some great personalities here from the property sector, and as Alan says, this is not an insurance event, it's a networking event for the property sector. So guys, please do take advantage of that. There are copies of this evening's speeches on the USB sticks that are included within your lanyards, and there are, of course, all of our contact details. Moving on, our next speaker is Graham Mills, who is the chairman of Technics Group. This is a business that is really at the cutting edge in terms of technology for surveys. A high-touch, a high-tech business, and Graham, as I say, is chairman of the Survey Association. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll now introduce you to Graham Mills.
Who am I? I've got two hats on. I'm the chairman of the Technics Group, as Brett said, and I'm also the president of the Survey Association. So, you can't see the red there very easily, but the Survey Association, just to fill you in on that a little bit, it represents the interests of commercial survey practices around the UK. There's 142 member companies, and there are thousands of employees within those companies. We lead the way with regard to anything to do with representing businesses, so creating client guides, lobbying government, and anything high level to represent commercial practices. Technics Group, whistle stop through this, 35 members of staff. We survey both in the UK and abroad, but we're mainly based in the UK. We undertake about 800 projects a year, anything from a single housing site right through to the entire utility surveys for Crossrail. And key clients you can see up there, and obviously if you play your cards right you can get on that exclusive list as well, which we can talk about later. What do? We undertake measured surveys of land and buildings, so topographic surveys, measured building surveys, complex utility surveys, and now on top of this modern survey like laser scanning, which I'll come on to in a second. Surveying through the years, that's not me. I do dress like that at weekends, but that's not me. Just to illustrate that surveying has come an awful long way, based on black and white hand-drawn surveys. Moving on to about 10 years ago, robotic survey instruments. I just want to put in context the speed with which survey has changed. A surveyor like this with one of these instruments would normally survey somewhere in the region of 800 points a day. That would be a good day's work for a surveyor. And he would be producing measured surveys like this. We've now got new technology, which is called laser scanning. This laser scanner here will survey 1 million points a second. So it's not just like a little step change, it is an astronomical cliff that we've jumped up. And this will pick up and survey data like this. So from a single survey instrument position on the corner of a street, it will pick up 1 million points a second, 360 degrees, and it will, you'll be able to form models straight from that. So the pace with which we've moved on in terms of data is absolutely phenomenal. And here's another model of an entire housing estate based on laser scanning. I want to talk about Zebedee. You think I've lost the plot already? I haven't. The real thing is this new bit of kit here. So we just talked about surveying 1 million points a second. This bit of equipment here is brand new to the market. It's not yet proven. But a normal survey of, say, a country house with a laser scanner may take 3 days to do. We just undertook a survey using this Zebedee, which I know looks a little bit unusual, but when you're holding it, the top waggles around, much like Zebedee does. It looks like you might have bought it in one of the local speciality shops. But what is it doing? It's firing out a laser from that antenna, that head, as it's moving, and we were able to undertake a survey of a country house that would normally take 3 days in 23 minutes. So you literally you look incredibly odd walking around with this little stick waggling around. Hopefully you can see from this imagery here what it does, literally walking around, no referencing with surveying. And you can create a point cloud model straight from that data. So again, the speed with which we're moving on is not just a little step change, it's changing our world completely. Other surveying technology, small unmanned aircraft. Used to be called UAVs, but this is apparently the formal way of describing them. we can now hang instruments underneath these. So there are two types. There's a fixed wing in the first one, and then there's a rotor copter like this one. They used to just be able to take photographs. We can now hang the laser scanners underneath those. So we can fly those over the top of sites. You need permission in certain areas because you're restricted on flying, but we can produce this kind of mapping now without even going on the site. So sites that we weren't able to access, areas we couldn't access, rooftops, etc., we can now survey remotely using that. What's all this happening with all this data? We're collecting phenomenal amount of data now, but it's only any good to you guys if we put it in an environment where you can use it. So building information modelling, for those people who haven't heard of this before, we used to just create CAD drawings, but now these drawings are turning into intelligent models, so that when you list or look at a wall, it can actually tell you details of that wall. It can tell you details about what that structure is, as opposed to just being an unintelligent line on a drawing. And so from that scan data, we can create full 3D models like these. And of course, for you guys in property, this is now the foundation for you managing property in full 3D space in a cloud environment that you can access anywhere. Benefits to the clients: faster data, significantly faster data. Enhanced accuracy. This tech is getting better and better. Cloud-based data but accessible anywhere, and of course faster decisions for your projects. Benefits for us: well, we get to play with lots of great boys' toys, which of course is something that we all like. That's my information. If anyone would like to speak to me later, that was a real whistle-stop tour through all the latest tech. Hopefully that's of interest. My details are up there, and I shall be hanging around if you want to talk to me. Thanks very much for your time.